Yo, yo, yo. Top of the morning to you, wealth champions. It is that time of the morning, man. In today's episode, we're talking about asset accumulation for working class people. Super excited to be here, man. Welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor. And I don't know about you guys, man, but this weekend was beautiful. I had a lovely, lovely time. I got a chance to get out in my garden, man, and planted a few plants, and I'm just excited, man. For some people, they dread Monday mornings. Not for me, man. I am excited to be alive and well, kicking every single morning. So hopefully you are feeling the same way this morning. We are super, 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 super excited about today's special guest, Mr. Don Willson. He's going to talk to you about how he's been accumulating assets since he was a kid. Wow, and that's something to consider. But what we're going to do is we're going to stop belaboring the moment, and we're going to go ahead and roll the intro so we can start the show.
It up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help.
Money, money, money. That's all he talks
There's
about.
nothing
Is
wrong
money.
with being wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create
Money
wealth.
is the root to all.
No, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil.
All like money. Oh, kid.
Yes, I do think about other things than money.
Money.
I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my family. Money's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am live coming to you direct from the Monetize My Life studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Listen, guys, we've all been given a gift, talent, or special ability by our creator. The question is, do you know how to package and present that to the marketplace and turn that into income? I believe that we have given these passions so that they can also lead us to our purpose. And where our purpose is, there too is our provisions. So if you want to learn how to take your gifts, talents, and special abilities and turn those into income, then you want to go over to www.monetizemylifenow.com. Get a free copy of my book. All you got to do is cover shipping, and I'll get that out to you today. So like I mentioned before, man, we've got a great show lined up for you today. We're talking to a good friend of mine about asset accumulation, specifically for working class people. Don Willson will be here later in the show. And I got to apologize to the brother. I kept calling him Darren Willson. And if some of you guys know, the name Darren Willson was burned into our brains a few years ago during the whole Ferguson, Mike Brown situation. And I don't know why that kept popping up in my head as I was talking to Don, but I want to apologize to him in advance. So let's go ahead and jump off into news that every hustler can use. You guys feel free to interact with the show. If you are live checking us out on Facebook or YouTube, then I can see your comments. If you just happen to be listening to the podcast, welcome via that medium as well. Be sure to rate the show on your favorite podcast distribution platform. And if you're checking us out on the actual show page, thecortezhustleshow.com, then you can leave your comments on that page as well. And I would love to hear your thoughts about what we got going on the show each and every Monday live at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the actual podcast is released at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time every Monday morning. So news every hustler can use. And what I like to do, man, a lot of times we think about the various books and things of that nature that we could be reading, but don't sleep on the articles, man. Certain publications have some good stuff And that's kind of what I'm going to show you today. I like to check out what's going on in Black Enterprise magazine, their online version, and I like to look at their top stories for entrepreneurs. And as you can see, they got a couple good ones out there for today. It says how this entrepreneur created beauty products made with veggies from her garden. I don't know if you guys know how powerful that is, man, but when you have the ability to produce from products that you actually source yourself, that's amazing. This one says about damn time. Venture capitalist Arlen Hamilton's new book is filled with crisis busting advice. So if you want to hear from a venture capitalist, then that's a good article for you to read. This entrepreneur wants to educate Black women about firearm safety. I think that's pretty dope. Picking college is hard. That's actually an ad, so we're going to skip over that one. Omar Medical CEO, Chicago officials disagree over sale of PPE equipment. Not sure what that is, but a lot of people have been gouging on that equipment, if you want to call it that. Supply and demand says when the supply gets low and the demand is high, you charge more for that supply. I love stories like this, inspirational. This Black-owned construction company went from broke to raking in billions. C. Davis Moody, the owner of C.D. Moody Construction, started his company in debt and out of his bedroom. I had a great conversation in one of the groups that I am, Black Entrepreneurs Networks Worldwide. And the question was, why are so many Black women exploding in business? What do we need to do to get more Black men in business? And one of the things I thought about is, I think from a man's perspective, we've been taught and trained that we have to be the provider. And then we've also been taught that it looks a certain way when we are not doing that, right? So even if I'm pursuing a business and that business isn't putting food on the table, I could be perceived a certain way. And as a result, I think that has a little to do with why a lot of men won't, jump out there and start a business and leave their job. I also think this, and it says here, this guy started his business in debt and in his bedroom. I think a lot of men have pride and ego issues. As a result, they lack the will to start from humble beginnings. And I think that is a huge, huge mistake. Because now this brother is raking in billions after starting in debt and in his bedroom. How an incurable brain condition gave this Black woman new life as an entrepreneur. And I think you shouldn't have to be forced into entrepreneurship. And I know that is the case with a lot of people. But I just think 3 reasons that everybody should be at least giving entrepreneurship a try. Number 1, I think it's time to show our children something different. Number 2, I think that there's a certain sense of pride and fulfillment when you are running a business, producing from your own efforts. And number 3, the tax code, man. Here in America, the tax code is so beneficial to entrepreneurs versus employees. You just got to add a business to what you're doing, man. Let's take a look at what's going on in Forbes, man. I saw a couple good headlines that I want to dive into a little bit later today. Let's see. Pitching through the pandemic, top experts share marketing and strategies on how to pitch. How this startup is revolutionizing the way students tour colleges online. We're going to talk a little bit later about opportunities that have arisen because of this pandemic. Are you recognizing opportunities that are right in your face? How to sell when customers aren't buying. I thought that was good. Then a 7-figure solopreneur's advice on staying nimble now. And then this other one I thought was pretty interesting. The CEO of 480 store Mod Pizza on surviving to serve in its second chance. So these are stories, articles I think that we should be diving into You can find and draw inspiration. I always look to learn from other entrepreneurs, what they got going on, what they're doing, success stories. You've got to find ways to stay motivated as an entrepreneur, man. And one of the ways I stay motivated is by always reading articles and things like this. Also, do me a favor, if you're checking us out on Facebook, man, I love to give free shout outs, man. This page reaches 100,000 people. And no telling how many people will download the actual podcast. So if you will comment the name of your business and or your brand, I would love to give you a free shout out on today's show as well. And if you are watching this on the show page and you comment the name of your business or brand on the actual show page, then I will give you a shout out next week. So when we come back, man, we're going to sit down with Don Willson, brother out of Chicago, man. Started accumulating assets when he was just 12 years old. Yeah, 12 years old. He started accumulating assets, but he's also going to talk about some assets that every working American should be accumulating as well during this time, or that they should be building. So when we come back on the other side of this break, man, I'm going to introduce some of you guys to Don Willson. Some of you guys know Don. He's a very good brother out of Chicago. Even though I'm in St. Louis, I did have a diehard Cubs fan on my show because it is bigger than that. Do me a huge favor also before we go to break, man. Make sure that you share the show. Make sure that you are liking the page wherever you're seeing this. If you're seeing this on one of our sister pages, 13 Entertainment LLC, the Hustle and Love page, H Cortez Thornton page, make sure that you share and like those pages as well. And then be sure to check us out on the podcasting platforms where you can give us a review. So let me cut to this break and we'll be right back. Keep it locked right here. The Cortez Hustle Show is brought to you by Financial Health Mentor, practical proven wealth building strategies specifically for working class Americans. Go to financialhealthmembership.com, learn how to get your taxes down, credit up, get out of debt, and start accumulating assets. Financialhealthmembership.com. Cortez Hustle Show is also brought to you by freefunnelmachine.com. If you've ever wanted to use sales funnels in your business, but not quite ready to fork over hundreds of dollars per month for funnel building software, then now you can incorporate sales funnels into your process absolutely free. freefunnelmachine.com includes free autoresponder, includes free training, and it is free for life. freefunnelmachine.com. The Cortez Hustle Show is also brought to you by Office Huddle Print Shop. All of the graphic designs, logos that you see for iHustle Media Group and the Cortez Hustle Show are courtesy of Office Huddle Print Shop. Check out their exclusive unlimited graphics package at officehuddleprints.com. The Cortez Hustle Show is a copywritten production of iHustle Media Group. Any unauthorized use of video, captions, audio, depiction of this show is strictly prohibited. iHustle Media Group, a better way to market. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. I'm sitting here with a very special guest. But real quick, let me give a shout out to my sponsor, freefunnelmachine.com. Listen, if you are not using sales funnels in your business, you are working too hard. Our sales funnels are free for life. They come with a free autoresponder and free training on how to customize them to your liking. So go check out freefunnelmachine.com. Now, I'm excited to talk to this young brother, man, because we've been knowing each other for a few years, and I know that he is all about asset accumulation, and he's got some very interesting assets. We're going to talk to him about how he even got into that game. But there's three main assets that he owns that I think everybody should be looking into. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Don, Coach D. Willson. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, Cortez? Hey, man, thank you so much for having me on, man. Always, obviously, a great time to be able to connect with such a powerful brother like you, man. So thank you so much for that introduction. And, man, thank you so much for having me on the show, man. You are definitely somebody that I look up to and admire from afar. So thank you again, sir. I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem, man. So before we get into the first asset, tell everybody a little bit about your background, man. I know you're in the Chi representing the the Bears hat there. Did y'all do anything good in the draft this year?
We did all right, man. Right now we got about 10 tight ends on the roster, so I don't know what we did.
All right. So
That is no exaggeration right now, man. So I don't know what we're doing there, but a little bit about myself, man. Chicago, born and raised. The Chi raised me, man. Got a degree from Florida State University. Don't ask me why, but man, I always thought that I would one day make it to the NFL, and Florida State was just the school that was supposed to get me there, man.
yeah.
Ended up getting a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. About 14 years in some type of supervisory or coaching management, field there. I love to just coach and develop people, man. Just try to bring out the best in them. Nothing makes me more excited than see somebody believe and live out their dreams, man. And obviously, I love to collect memorabilia, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. That's the 30-second version of it.
All right, so tell me really quickly, man. What was the first piece that you collected, and did you know at that point you were going to become a collector, or how did that evolve, and how did you really get into understanding what memorabilia is and how it is an asset?
Yeah, so I started out just like a lot of kids back in the day. It's kind of a lost art now, man, collecting baseball cards and basketball cards and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I would get my allowance, man, that's what my mom and my dad would take me to the old school dugout store, and I would buy Michael Jordan cards, things of that nature. I actually got the book right here with all of my cards in there. So I just collect baseball cards, basketball cards, and then obviously trading them with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And a funny story that a lot of people really don't know about me is my grandfather actually trained 3 Hall of Famers from your rival, but my lovable Cubbies.
Mm-hmm.
He actually trained 3 Hall of Famers, and my dad would tell me a bunch of stories about Ernie Banks and Billy Williams and Fergie Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
Having Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner, at my grandparents' house back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was about 12 years old, and I went to my first ever convention show. And my dad said, I got this little cheap Kmart ball that was like 50 cents. I had like 4 of them at the time. And my dad said, if you get a chance to meet Ernie Banks, just tell him who your grandfather is.
Mm-hmm.
And they went through the whole signing period, and then he was leaving. And I just remember walking up to him, and the security was like, he's not signing anything anymore. And I just said, excuse me, Mr. Banks, I was just told to tell you who my grandfather is. And he stopped. And this is like Mr. Cub.
Right.
He like stopped, and he said, who was your grandfather? And I said, his name is Tom Lefty Wilson. And then it was just like the look on his eyes, like the expression on his face. And so he signed like all 4 baseballs for me. And, it's like, man, your grandfather's like a really good friend of mine, and I owe a lot of my career to him.
Mm.
And what made me, honestly, at that point, Cortez, what made me get into that industry was here I was, a 12-year-old kid with 4 cheap, Kmart baseballs. And right after Mr. Banks walked off, some guy walked up to me and said, I'll give you $20 for each ball.
Wow.
And so I knew at that point, I kind of had my hands on something. And that's kind of where it started.
Gotcha. And I want you guys to understand something that happened. The ball itself didn't change. It was still a $1.99 ball from Kmart or wherever you get a bucket of balls, right, for $10. They not worth much at all, but
Yeah.
the signature changed the intrinsic value forever. Now, you being 12 didn't know that the intrinsic value was a lot more than $20, but it was more than what you had paid for it. And then I'm sure it dawned on you at the time, well, if he's good friends with my grandfather, I can probably get some more balls signed at a later date. I'm gonna take this 20 per ball. So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, actually, I didn't even sell a ball, man. Actually, it's downstairs. It's I ended up losing, believe it or not, man, because again, I was 12.
Uh-huh.
I was still young and immature. I ended up losing like 3 out of the 4 balls, but I actually got the 4th one downstairs, man. So
Gotcha.
even at that moment at 12, I just knew if somebody was willing to pay me something for this now, if I hold on to it, it's probably going to be worth a lot more.
Gotcha. So that kind of it clicked that, and I don't know if you knew the term asset back then, but you knew that it was something valuable. So talk about when you transitioned and matured a little bit more, and you start to understand that no, this is an asset, and it's an appreciating asset. The longer I hold on to it, the more it's going to be worth over time. When did
Yeah.
that aha moment hit you?
I was believe it or not, man, I was a senior in college, and I actually just started buying like a bunch of like throwback jerseys. This was back when the throwback jersey craze was, was everywhere.
Hmm.
And I just remember being at Florida State. Charlie Ward was the first black quarterback to win a Heisman Trophy
Hmm.
in Florida State, and so I bought a jersey, and one of my professors was like, "Hey, man, I can get that signed for you." And I was like, "Really?" And I just at that point, I wanted to get it signed just to say, "Man, I got something signed by." An alum of my university, and just kind of hang on to it. And after I graduated and I came back home, I ended up going to another one of those memorabilia shows, and I was
Hmm.
just seeing people with all of this stuff, and it was selling for like thousands of dollars, and I was just like, man, like this is like really interesting. And I ended up connecting and meeting somebody who just kind of put me in the opportunity to meet a bunch of athletes, and and then just kind of started getting a bunch of memorabilia and things like that. And so it was like at that point he's like, man, if you ever decide to offload any of this stuff, you can definitely get in real low, and you can make some pretty nice margins on a lot of this stuff. And so I was just like, okay. And then the stuff just naturally started to be cool to me because I was a big sports fan anyway.
Right.
So that's kind of how I got into it.
Got you. So you got an autographed jersey by Charlie Ward. You've got the autographed balls by your grandpa's good friend, legendary St. Louis, Chicago Cub, right? What are some of the other prized possessions that you have in your collection?
Yeah, so believe it or not, real quick, just to be clear, I actually gave my professor that jersey, man, and it was like $150 jersey, and I never got it back, man.
Oh, so he did get it signed. You just didn't get
he
it back.
he got it signed, and I think at the time he may have started to look at what the value of some of that stuff was, and I never got it back. But I actually pulled a couple of items. So right here above where I'm pointing,
Mhm.
Cortez, that'll make you happy because those are the rival cards right there.
Yeah.
Ozzie Smith, Lou Brock, and let me see, Ozzie Smith, Lou Brock, and Bob Gibson. But I got an official Vince Lombardi trophy, right? And so this is the creme de
Whoa.
la creme of the NBA. And then I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's actually signed by a couple of Hall of Famers already. So Lawrence Taylor, Mike Singletary, Richard Dent.
Wow.
Um, my lovable Cubbies, every Hall of Famer, with the exception of Ron Santo, is signed on an official Chicago Cubs helmet right there. That's just kind of like two things, and then I can't even pull this out, but I'll just let you guys see this.
Hmm.
Anytime something comes wrapped up,
Yeah.
just trust and believe it's worth a lot of money, man. I'll put it to you this way. I probably put just in this what's in this tube. I probably put maybe 2 years ago. I probably invested maybe 2,500, and
Hmm.
let's just say it's probably 15,000 now in this tube right
Wow.
now. So
Wow.
just a couple of pieces, man. Just literally a small couple of pieces that's
Got you.
actually in my collection.
And before we cut to break real quick, what would you say to a parent who's got a kid who's that throwback kid who may be into that stuff now, where, like you said, it's kind of a lost art, but a kid who may be into that stuff and want to go to these shows and they are poo-pooing it like it's nothing, it's a waste of time, man. What would you say to a parent like that?
Hey, please don't just throw that stuff to the side, man, because a lot of that stuff, believe it or not, is a whole lot. There's a lot of value in it.
Hmm.
And really quick before we go to commercial break, I remember I had a 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan card, and I didn't take care of it, and my parents actually tossed it out. And
Hmm.
that is actually the creme de la creme of basketball cards, man, and that card is worth about 56 grand right now. So if your
Wow.
kids got some basketball cards, man, please don't throw them out until you go get those things appraised, because you might be throwing a small fortune away.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So when we come back, man, Don is going to talk about yet another asset that he is building on right now. And I think you guys are going to really love that. So don't go anywhere. You want to hear about this other asset that he's building, because it's positioning people right now to make a lot of money, and it's only going to grow as all assets do in value over time. So keep it locked right here. The Cortez Hustle Show is brought to you by Financial Health Mentor, practical proven wealth building strategies specifically for working class Americans. Go to financialhealthmembership.com, learn how to get your taxes down, credit up, get out of debt, and start accumulating assets. Financialhealthmembership.com. Cortez Hustle Show is also brought to you by freefunnelmachine.com. If you've ever wanted to use sales funnels in your business, but not quite ready to fork over hundreds of dollars per month for funnel building software, then now you can incorporate sales funnels into your process absolutely free. Freefunnelmachine.com includes free autoresponder, includes free training, and it is free for life. Freefunnelmachine.com. The Cortez Hustle Show is also brought to you by Office Huddle Print Shop. All of the graphic designs, logos that you see for iHustle Media Group and the Cortez Hustle Show are courtesy of Office Huddle Print Shop. Check out their exclusive unlimited graphics package at officehuddleprints.com. The Cortez Hustle Show is a copywritten production of iHustle Media Group. Any unauthorized use of video, captions, audio, depiction of this show is strictly prohibited. iHustle Media Group, a better way to market. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. I'm your host, Cortez Hustle, coming to you live and direct from the freefunnelmachine.com studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. And yes, I am a Cardinal for life, home of the also NHL World Champion Hockey St. Louis Blues. And yes, I am sitting across from a St. Louis Cub and a Chicago Blackhawk and my good friend Don Willson. Before we left to break, though, Don, I know I'm just giving you some grief there, but you were talking about the assets that you built starting as a kid, which led you down the path of understanding the difference between assets and liabilities and some things that you can do with your time. You also have another asset that we like to call a home-based business. Talk a little bit specifically about the importance of having a home-based business in your wealth building portfolio.
Absolutely. So, man, that's a great segue, Cortez. The probably the most important thing about having it is, especially in a time like right now, man, like we're in this social pandemic with everything that's going on with with the COVID-19. But just being able to get into something again that's a low startup cost, but that has very high earning potential.
Yeah.
Right. Like I got into a lot of that memorabilia stuff at a low cost. And should I have a need to offload it, I can offload it, for a profit. Some of the great things about having a home-based business is a lot of things that I actually pay every single day or every single month, should I say, actually become tax deductions for me. So the cost and the value of having a home-based business is just astronomical. Like it is literally a unlimited income potential earning. Obviously, it is going to take some time, some effort, and some energy to build your brand, to build your business. But if you build it and market it and brand it the right way, man, and you just really put yourself in a position where you want to help people, the rewards and the dividends that'll come back to you is just simply amazing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss that at the heart of entrepreneurship is service, man. And what you guys do is you serve people in the one area that they probably need the most help, because as a financial educator and a wealth coach, you know that money is not taught in schools, and what little is taught at home in a lot of cases is misinformation, because your parents are passing down information that's either antiquated or just wrong altogether because they got the information from a poor source. So talk a little bit about the specific areas that you coach people to help them build their personal fortunes.
Yeah. Tax minimization is probably the biggest area, man. Like people don't understand that taxes actually is their biggest expense. A lot of people think that, hey, when they need to save some money, I might need to kind of downsize the family cell phone plan, or we may need to cut the cable, or if we keep the cable, we got to cut Netflix and chill. We
Mhm.
can't eat out as much. People look at those things and they think that that's going to actually get them to where they're trying to get to financially, but that's actually just budgeting. Tax minimization is taking the first 1/3 of people's paycheck without them even knowing or realizing it. And so what I teach people honestly is we're not going to teach you to not pay taxes because everybody has to pay taxes. But what I want you to understand is don't pay a penny more in taxes than what you actually should. And that's what the top 1% in this country does is they just don't pay a dime more in taxes than they actually have to. And so when they don't pay more than they have to in tax, they're able to use that excess cash flow to kind of eliminate some debt and then ultimately start to invest. Because Cortez, as a mentor of you and I that we share, has taught us if you're not investing, you're not even on a road to creating wealth. And
Yeah.
so my job, my responsibility is to show you how to get those finances so that you can start to invest, so that you can create a legacy, not only for you, but for your family for generations to come.
Yeah, and I think that's very powerful. And a lot of people don't see those as parts that must be addressed as the whole. You might see somebody who is overpaying taxes, but they're focused on getting out of debt. They just want to be debt free and not realizing that if you were not overpaying taxes, there's your money to get you out of debt. Or you might see somebody who is focused on getting a high credit score not for the purpose of buying assets, but so they can get some more junk, right? So you guys do a great job of helping people understand how all of those things are connected. And as a result, man, you have been able to leverage your tax savings and getting out of debt and having that high credit score into some other assets. So let's talk about a couple of those other assets that you were able to add to your memorabilia collection. And now you just, I mean, cash, asset, cash, right?
Right, absolutely, man. So I mean, you kind of hit it on the head right there. Cash, asset, cash, man. So not only do I have, all of this memorabilia and all of this stuff right here, which is, really nice to look at and is gaining value every single day, but I also have what's called a private reserve account. And
Hmm.
see, like you said, Cortez, you said something a few seconds ago that's very profound. A lot of people don't even know what a private reserve account is because A, we weren't taught it in high school. B, I told you I got 2 degrees, downstairs in my den. We weren't taught it in college. And so having a private reserve account allows me to invest in an account. And only, believe it or not, man, only the top 6% in this country even have a private reserve account.
Hmm.
And so in times like these, when unemployment rate is through the roof, job loss is through the roof, people are robbing Peter to pay Paul, people are floating stuff on a credit card, a private reserve account is actually capped off, so I'll never lose any money.
Hmm.
Now, what makes that so critical and probably so important is people's 401ks are taking a huge hit right now. Like
Hmm.
I was just talking to a business partner of mine yesterday, and she was just telling me that her supervisor lost $300,000 in her
Wow.
401k. And with it being in a private reserve, she wouldn't have never taken that hit. And
Hmm.
so that's where it lets me know that the service that I offer as a financial educator and a wealth educator is something that's really needed because now we could have taken that money, put it in a private reserve, capped it off so she won't lose money. She'll actually become the bank. So even if she needed to take some money out to buy a car or, to purchase a house or something like that, she could actually take that money out, never lose the value of the money, pay herself back as the actual bank, and actually pay herself interest also, which would make her private reserve account just continue to grow. So that's just one wealth tool, wealth principle that we kind of have at our disposal. And the second one is land banking.
Hmm.
Of course, as you're in the great state of Missouri, I'm from the great state of Illinois. The last time I think both you and I checked, God's not making any more land.
No, it's not happening.
It's just kind of like whatever is here is what's here, and we need to make use with it the best that we possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And so with land banking, man, my wife and myself was actually able to purchase some land right outside of Los Angeles in Palmdale, and it's going to be the energy capital of the world. Like, it'll be the energy capital of the world. And a beautiful part about this is we purchased some land in what's called a direct line of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So within the next 5, 7, 10 years, the land that we purchase will probably be purchased back from us at a higher price, because they're building hospitals and schools and banks and facilities. So they'll need that land to actually purchase those things as they make California the energy capital of the world.
Yeah.
And the craziest part about it is, this is when you know you have something special in your hands. People like Warren Buffett is invested in something that I'm invested in.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about that. Warren Buffett invested $300 million into something that I got my little couple of, tens of thousands of dollars in as well. Right? So understanding what land banking is, understanding what a private reserve is just some of the financial solutions that we provide for people, to let them know that, man, hey, you may not have been taught these things in the past, but you have the opportunity now to learn and to grow so that your future can look way better than what the past did.
Absolutely, man. And I love that Facebook quote, and I don't know who originated. I think the last time I saw it, it said Bill Gates, and I saw somebody else's name attached to it, but it says, if you were born broke, that's not your fault. But if you die broke, that is your fault. We are in the land of opportunity. So really quickly, Don, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you in the event that they want to connect with you on some of these services.
Absolutely, man. So you can always email me, donw2003@yahoo.com. My business website is MWRfinancial.com /Coach D Will, MWRfinancial.com /Coach D Will, or email me, donw2003@yahoo.com. And me and my team would absolutely love the opportunity to partner with you and to kind of coach you on this wealth journey as well.
Awesome. Don is kind of freezing up a little bit, but hopefully you guys got that. Don W 2013 at yahoo.com. 2003. Say it again.
Yeah. DONW2003 at yahoo.com.
2003. All right, man. Well, it was always a pleasure. As always, it's a pleasure having you on board, man. And I know there's a lot of people hurting right now, looking for some financial help, and you guys can definitely help them get that done. So I appreciate you for stopping by. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk more on the different opportunities that are presenting themselves during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. You just have to train your eyes to be able to see them. Keep it locked right here.
I have done 2 prior Longevity Better Health Now challenges. I decided this time around I needed an extra push. A good thing to remember is 32 pounds is the weight of my 3.5-year-old son, and I am not carrying around a 3.5-year-old basically.
I'm a mother of 4. I just want to see how healthy I can get so that I can be around for a while. It's pretty amazing whenever you're excited to get on the scales every morning and see what the numbers are instead of dreading it.
When I went to convention last year, the day of the 5K, this lady, Merle, came across the finish line. She was visually impaired. She was blind. From this day forth, I said, I'm changing my lifestyle, and I'm just going to be a whole new me.
I was out of control. I really let myself go. And I thought, okay, who loses 12 pounds in a week? I'm like, this is such a joke. But it happened, and it happened again and again and again. Anybody can do this. If I can do it, you can do it.
Leading up to today has been a whirlwind, but I feel amazing. Everybody makes you feel really awesome when you come here too, so it just kind of like heightens your excitement about everything.
I feel so much better. If I could help just one person be able to do that for their life, then it'd be worth it all.
I feel amazing. I can't believe how far I've came from last year to this year.
I have kept my weight off within 2 to 5 pounds, which is a complete miracle. Let's go!
Welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show, ladies and gentlemen. Super excited to have you back. This is our third episode. Show some love to my man, Don Willson. Started accumulating assets when he was just 12 years old. Man, you never know what spark you're going to ignite in your children, man. So give them the opportunity to see a lot of different things, connect to a lot of different people, try a lot of different things, man, because again, you just never know. And now he's helping other people accumulate assets. And if you got a kid out there, man, that is into baseball cards and that kind of stuff, man, don't take that stuff lightly. Help them understand. That's a great teaching moment to help them understand what an asset is, how delayed gratification works, and all of that stuff. But as promised, man, I want to share with you guys some content from my man George C. Frazier, Dr. George C. Frazier. Let's see if I can get you guys a good glimpse of that. This book is called Race for Success, right? Race for Success. And it goes over the 10 best business opportunities for Blacks in America today. And I refer to this from time to time, man, just as a reference guide. But when you're in something like what we're dealing with now, this social distancing, you have to really start thinking about what opportunities are there available. So this talks about 10 industries or 10 segments of business, but as you dive deeper, they all can be broken down into several different niches and then sub niches and micro niches, and there's opportunity all around us. The question is, are you preparing yourself to seize the opportunity? Are you training your eye to see the opportunity? So let's just look at a few of these. He talks about global commerce being something that is developing, and if you are at home right now and you're thinking about, man, how can I make some extra money? There's a lot of platforms that will allow you to set up an e-commerce website for free. You can source products from all over the world, have those products drop ship directly to your customer, and you don't even have to have any inventory, right? Let me just give my shout outs real quick. I saw Mary Evans from the SOS show live with Mary. She was the only one who dropped the name of her business and or her brand. So definitely want to shout her out for engaging and participating with the show. Tiffany says, why is there a commercial? I'm going to show you why there's a commercial here in a second, right? Because another one of the industries that we should be looking at in terms of opportunity is publishing and media, right? So this show is a production of iHustle Media Group, and we have sponsors for the show. So they pay for airtime to get in front of my audience. So just like Pepsi and McDonald's pays to get in front of millions of people during the show Power or any of the other popular shows out there, we've got to understand that publishing and media is a huge opportunity. And even though I don't have millions of viewers and millions of listeners yet, people recognize the small amount of influence that I do have. And so they pay for commercials to be aired on my live streams. So yeah, that's why there is a commercial, Tiffany Matthews. Let's see. Martina Vital says, Vital Financial Services. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. Keep the comments coming with the name of your business and or your brand, and I don't mind shouting you guys out for free. Even though I do have some paid advertisers, as you know, I was just discussing with Tiffany. But publishing and media is one of the areas that we should be understanding. And when it comes to us as Black people, especially, I think it was Dr. Claude Anderson who says that when we have less than 1%, 1/10 of 1% of all the media outlets in the country, right? And here's why that's significant. Because when you cannot communicate in mass, you can't organize. And when you can't organize, you can't mobilize, right? So I want you to think about a lot of people who are struggling and suffering right now. And because of a lot of misinformation going out about COVID-19, a lot of mass hysteria and hyperbole coming from a lot of the main media outlets, and some of the things that affect us specifically in our smaller communities, the major media outlets aren't even covering that stuff. What if we had our own media where we can get those specific stories and those specific messages out to the masses and really impact? We could be saving lives when we understand media. Oh, Tiffany says she thought she got disconnected. No, no, it's actually part of the show. Thank you for that. So publishing and media is a huge opportunity for us, especially now since digital equipment to actually do what I'm doing, a video podcast, has become relatively inexpensive. Storage is relatively inexpensive. So it's a game that we could play in. But I talked earlier about why some people are hesitant to go into business is because they don't want to start from humble beginnings, right? I remember when I first did my first live show, and it was me every morning at 7 a.m. live talking to just one or two people, right? I knew that if I continued to stay with it, if I continued to provide great content that's engaging, that's informative, that's entertaining, that eventually more and more people would find the show. And they did. So that's what has led to the formation of I Hustle Media Group. That is my company that provides not only media platforms for myself, but also for other podcasters. We have another show that airs tomorrow morning or Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m., which is called the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. And I was able to give a platform to a good friend of mine who's a local comedian here in the St. Louis area. So when we understand the power of these opportunities, it's not just for me, but I'm able to provide a platform for others as well. So media and publishing is another good one. Urban redevelopment is another place that we could all be working in. See, one of the things that I do with my companies is I'm positioning myself as well as connecting with other entrepreneurs and other thought leaders and other social activists, because I want you to imagine something. When we look at urban redevelopment, imagine in the St. Louis area if I was connected to 1,000 other entrepreneurs and we all contributed $1,000 per month to a specific pot, right? 1,000 times 1,000 is 1,000,000. If I was connected to 1,000 other entrepreneurs and we all contributed $1,000 per month, that's $1 million per month. And if we took urban redevelopment seriously, I don't know about where you are, but I know that ghettos all across this country look exactly the same. So we're talking about the ability with $1 million a month to buy 10 square blocks. Next month, we got another $1 million. We could start the demolition process. The month after that, we could start the rebuilding process. And guess what? With $1 million a month, we can hire the people who live in those communities, right, to actually do the work. But we got to understand and recognize opportunities when we see them. Every time I ride through my old neighborhood of Wilson, I ride through St. Louis City, the north side, south side, the west side, I see vacant lot after vacant lot, buildings that need to be torn down and condemned, and all I see is opportunity. Are you the type of person that sees the opportunities that are here? And not only am I seeing the opportunity, I found a way to position myself to seize the opportunity. And that's what this thing is about. Technology, man. I often wonder why we are some of the, why we don't look at technology from a production standpoint, right? If you realize, these headphones, for instance, you mean to tell me that we can't figure out how to manufacture the headphones that we use when a lot of us as young people aspire to be singers, musicians, entertainers, rappers, and whatever? See, we've got to understand the connection between all areas of industry. I want you to think about this. During the California Gold Rush, there were two groups of people that got wealthy. There were the few people who actually struck gold. There was a few people who actually struck gold. They got wealthy. But do you know there was another group of people that got mega rich, and they never even panned for gold? They never even looked for gold. You know who those people were? Those were the people who sold the tools to the people who were panning for gold. I hope y'all get that, man. During the California Gold Rush, two groups of people got stupid rich. The people who actually struck gold, there was a few of those people, they actually struck gold, right? But then there were also the people who set up businesses and created companies that sold the tools to the people who were panning for gold. And then there were the people or the companies that actually manufactured those tools. I want you to take something like entertainment, because that is also on here, right? We're talking about George C. Frazier's book, Race for Success, right? 10 best business opportunities for Blacks in America, right? So media and publishing is one. Urban redevelopment is another. Small business development is another one. We talked about global commerce, e-commerce. That is huge. Global commerce is one thing, but e-commerce allows the average person to access global commerce, right? Entertainment. I want you to think about entertainment. So given the logic we just said, I know we're down to the last 5 minutes of the show, but I want to break this down for you guys and help you understand. If we take the same logic of, okay, during the gold rush, there were the people who actually struck gold, and we compare that to entertainment, right? When we're looking at entertainment, there are actually people who do make it big in entertainment. There are people who end up like a Beyonce, like a Rihanna, like a Jay-Z, like a Kanye West, right? Big time movie stars, a Denzel Washington, right? A Kerry Washington. There are people who actually make it. So that's kind of like the people who strike gold, right? But there are few and far between. And then you have companies who sold the products or who sold the tools to the people who struck gold, right? So you had your hardware stores that a derivative of those hardware stores are still in business today, right? They set up shops and they source all of the pickaxes and the pans and the jeans and the hammers and the vehicles, everything needed for those people to actually go strike gold. The companies who sold those things, the equipment, they got stupid rich, right? Who's selling the equipment to our rappers, our singers, our actors when they go buy their cameras and they start shooting their short films? Who's selling that equipment to them? The microphones like what I'm on right now, the headphones. I ordered this stuff from Amazon, right? Who's selling the equipment that's needed? Because I want you to think about, while there are few people that are going to actually make it in the entertainment industry, there are millions upon millions who are trying to make it, who never will, but they're spending tons of money on equipment as they are pursuing their dreams. And then that third group of people, the people who actually manufactured the tools, the people who manufactured the clothes like Levi. You guys know that's where Levi came from? That's when denim was developed during the gold rush. And some 200-300 years later, Levi's is still a popular brand, right? You guys realize Levi is somebody's name? Come on, man. Who's manufacturing the equipment that we are buying when we are pursuing our dreams, right? Who manufactured this microphone, these headphones, the Logitech camera that I'm streaming from, right? Who's manufacturing the things that we need to make our mark as we're pursuing our dreams and goals? And this is why this is important. Right. Sharon says, I want stock in the companies selling equipment. Yes, that's where we should be thinking. That's where our mindset should be at when we're looking at opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, the last opportunity, I've got to touch on this because this is what my man Don Willson broke down, the opportunity in education. I want you guys to put this in the comments for me. And I got this from Trevor Otts, founder of Black CEO. There is more in what you know than what you do. There is more in what you know than what you do. If you guys understood the platforms that we have right now, Zoom the founder of Zoom, Eric increased his net worth by $2.5 billion, right? So that we can communicate with one another. You have the opportunity to teach what you know to someone. And I don't have my book close to me, but if you go to monetizemylifenow.com, you can get a free copy of my best-selling book. All you got to do is cover shipping. monetizemylifenow.com. Grab a free copy of the book, and that book is going to show you how to take what you know, the special gifts, the talents that God gave you, even your experiences, how to package and present them to the marketplace and turn them into income. See, we are in what's called the age of information, and the digital course online information industry is projected in the next few years to be $1 billion per day. Everybody is seeking and searching for how to do something, how to use YouTube, how to make money from home, how to start a business. If you got experience in doing those things, you can build your own teaching courses where you can show people what it is that you know, and they will spend money with you. Ladies and gentlemen, on this Friday, the Cortez Hustle Show airs on Mondays and Friday. So this Friday will be our first Friday, and I'm going to be breaking down more on the Monetize My Life topic. So make sure that you subscribe to the feed if you are on listening to the podcast on your favorite podcast applications. Make sure that you like, follow the page if you're watching us on the Facebook page, and hit see first on the page. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching live, because Mondays at 7 a.m., Fridays at 7 a.m. is where we're going to talk a lot about this. And this coming Friday, I'm going to be breaking down how you can monetize your life. You might want to go ahead and go to monetizemylifenow.com and order the free book. Looks like Montina said, just ordered mine. I appreciate that. Thank you. There is more than what, yes, absolutely. So that's going to wrap us up for the show, man. I'm super excited that you guys tuned in. I see you guys over on YouTube. Curtis May is over there. Good morning. Brenda Jackson is over there. Good morning. Glad she found the show. Trevor Martin, good morning. So I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Until I talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.